I found this dude earlier today. His name is Zeducation. He's verified and has 520,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's like the YouTube version of a TikTok e-boy. He's super cool and zoomy. He has a backwards cap and he loves Donald Trump. He does the you laugh. Oh no. He's trying to be like a freak. He is trying to be like a regular YouTuber. He's like, I'm just your average YouTuber. You laugh, you lose. SJW cringe compilation. Why is this getting 500,000 views like it's 2014? Dude, these guys, they're stuck in the past. This is their tradition. This is the tradition that they want you to uphold. Just watching SJW cringe compilations from 6 years ago. Wait, I gotta click on one of these for a second.
You lose. If you laugh at anything in today's video, you lose and you have to share this video.
The science that says you must test, trace, treat, you must wear your mask, you must have sanitation, you must wear your mask, you must wear your mask.
That's right. If you laugh at anything in today's video, you have to
I've never felt so empty. You laugh at that? And they say the left can't meme.
No amount of property is worth a human life. Don't risk your life looting then. Grrr. That's right, if no amount of property is worth a human life, then don't start it on fire and put your life at risk. It only makes sense. When the media is behind your movement, you aren't the resistance. And when 90% of your college professors and 95...
When Google changes their logo rainbow for February, this truly is the system coming to bat for LGBTQ rights.
5% of your peers all think the same. You also are not the resistance. You aren't the rebels. You aren't the ones fighting the system. Liberals, it's too dangerous to vote in person. Also liberals. CNN would say, mostly safe voyage. Guys, it was mostly safe. It was 99.9% safe until that last little stretch of couple hours, you know? From the Hill, Democrats slam Trump's Kenosha visit as divisive. 1 day later, Biden to visit Kenosha on Thursday.
We have to stop. No. Wrong. It's been 2 minutes and it's on 1.25 speed. It was cozy. Yeah, the coziness was here and it is all evaporated. He has evaporated my coziness. Does anyone think this is funny? Was any of this supposed to be funny? I think I could find funnier memes scrolling through like a left-wing Reddit sub. AOC, no, don't do it. AOC, don't do it. AOC, please. Say it. Oh no. That's actually really funny. Wait, no, this is you laugh, you lose. Wait, we're not going back to this. We can't go back. We can't return. There's this guy who thinks that Trump is winning all 50 states or something.
If you played last night's game where you took a drink of soda, every time Biden said this,
come on,
here's how your night went.
Don't worry. It's all going to be over soon. Come on. Learning to live with it. Come on. Not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it. Come on. I know how to game.
Come on, Jack. Say, Jack, that's malarkey.
So, back to the debate and the highlights and who won. Let's not even look at the polls because I hate polls. We know this from 2016. Polls are very, very, very...
Let's not look at the polls. The polls are very bad. Trump is down 10.5 points. Let's not look at the polls, okay? Just don't pay attention to them. Don't look. Don't look over there. Let's look at something else. So he has something else for us.
Let's look at some other very hard data as to who people thought won. As you can see...
That's true. Go vote. Wait, hard data for who won.
Here from Google, compiling all of this information from around the country, a vast, vast, vast majority of people thought that Trump won the debate.
Wait a second. Wait, calm down. Wait, my brain. No, it hurts. I'm being attacked. This is political violence. It hurts. It hurts a lot. No, please don't tell me he's actually unironically making this argument. He's looking at Google search trends for who won the debate. As you can see, an overwhelming majority of people think that Trump won in every single state in the US. People typed in the words Trump won. more than they typed in the words Biden won. Look, even Maryland, what man? Maryland, Massachusetts, Washington, Oregon. Dang, all of them, all voting. Trump is winning all 50 states, boys.
Trump won. Like I said, we all see what we want to see, but this is pretty hard data compared to the polls, compared to the pundits on TV, compared to what I think. That's pretty hard data. But just for kicks.
How's that hard data? I typed in Trump won. I typed in the words Trump won into a sentence like after the debate, because I was actually looking for people who thought that Trump won. That's what I was doing. I don't know about everybody else, but I was actually looking for people who thought that Trump won, because I thought it was just that dumb. But you know, whatever.
Before we get into my top 5 moments, what does registered Democrat on Fox News, Chris Wallace, think about last night?
I thought the president's presentation, he was more fluid. There were clearly times when Joe Biden seemed to falter a little bit in making his point or finishing his sentence.
Definitely. I 100.
Damn, the guy with the stutter seemed to have trouble finishing his sentence sometimes. Who would have thunk it, dude? Also, that's not saying that Trump did well. I don't know the clip that he pulled that from, but also people are still trying. They're still hating. He's still molding. Trump lost so bad in that first debate that Republicans are still molding over the fact that Chris Wallace decided to push back on Trump literally lying to his face at a million words per minute. It's wild to me. The registered Democrat Chris Wallace, what does he have to say? Like he's some sort of like he's some sort of lib. He lives in Washington D.C., the most liberal place in the entire country. Washington D.C. If you want to have your voice heard and who wins in Washington D.C., he just votes for the most conservative Democrat to run. Okay, that's just what he does. But you know, whatever. Okay.
100% agree with him. Trump started off great. He was much more calm. He didn't argue as much. He didn't interrupt as much. Trump
looked like he was constipated, trying not to interrupt Joe Biden when his microphone was muted. It was wild.
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people.
Coyotes? Are you kidding me? What does David Hogg think about this?
Imagine calling the immigrant parents that bring their children to the United States for a better life coyotes. The level of xenophobia is sickening.
Harvard student. What about some of our...
Wait, what? Damn, someone from Harvard has a political opinion? Who could have thunk it?
Politicians around the country, like this state rep from Georgia.
Did real Donald Trump just say 545 kids they can't find their parents for came over through cartels and coyotes? How the hell does a coyote bring a whole human across the border? Lord, stop talking.
Okay, that one's kind of funny. That person was thinking the same thing we were thinking at the beginning. Where when I heard that, I was like, is he actually talking about unironic coyotes? Let's just like, is he? Because me and Kat and Vicus, we were like, is he talking about like the baby, like the baby dogs, the wild feral dogs, like babies, like children are riding coyotes like racehorses across the border, and this is a problem for like a border patrol. That's what I was thinking. I'm still thinking that. It sounds hilarious to think that it is kind of funny that this person is live tweeting. This is why you don't live tweet, okay? This is the exact reason why you don't live tweet, is because of things like this, where you say Trump thinks that actual like literal coyotes are like storks dropping off babies on Mexican babies with like sombreros on Mexican soil and then just dipping it across the border. See, the thing is, he completely dodged the idea that David Hogg brought up, is that the idea that coyotes and cartels are the ones bringing these children and not their literal parents. He completely dodged that because he knows that's dipshit and malarkey. He completely dodged it. He's just like, Harvard student. He's like, haha. He said something and I disagree with it. I'm not going to tell you why or how, but I do. Haha. And then he walks away, and then he goes to the one that's obviously easier to dunk on.
They built cages. You know, they used to say, I built the cages. And then they had a picture in a certain newspaper. And it was a picture of these horrible cages. And they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them. And then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Let me ask you a follow-up
Kristen,
question.
they did it. We changed the policy.
Your response
they
to that?
did it.
What do you mean? Yeah, he changed the policy. He made it worse. Still, like this, I don't understand this talking point. I don't know how Republicans can like push this talking point. The fact that the thing that he could genuinely bring up that is like a decent point is that some of those cages that people were bringing up before were built by Trump. My bad. Were built by the Obama administration. The thing is, they weren't using it the same way Trump is. That just doesn't happen. They weren't separating kids the same way Trump is, and he said that himself. This entire debate, this entire part of the debate was Trump literally going, they said I built these terrible cages where terrible things happen in them. As you can see, yeah, I'm doing the terrible things, but Obama put the cages there so I can do them. So what's the problem? Why are people angry at me? This is like your dog sitter, right? Let's imagine that you're middle class and you make $400,000 a year, and you get a dog sitter to watch your Shih Tzu Bubbles, right? And you have kitchen knives, and then you come back, and then your dog is like impaled to the drywall, and you're like, what happened? Why did you do this? And he's like, and then the dog watcher is like, well, you left the knives and the dog, so I don't know what you were expecting. Yeah, Obama did it and I made it worse. We changed the policies to be worse, so I don't know why people are mad. Like, what's going on? This is a crazy talking point. I'm just so surprised that people actually think that this is anything that would swing anybody with more than 3 working brain cells in their head.
Parents were ripped, their kids were ripped from their arms and separated.
Who built the cages, Joe? Clearly not answering, because they did build the cages back in 2014.
Yeah, that sucks. That's bad. Yeah, the Obama administration wasn't that great, but they weren't using the cages the same way Trump is. I mean, I don't know. Like, they're using disinfectant that's making people cough up blood. Like, I mean, it's forced hysterectomies. Using Google Translate to have people consent to medical procedures. What are you talking? I mean, I just don't. I don't know how is this good for Trump? How does this look good for Trump? How ever? How? I don't get it. I need to talk to one of these people. I need to get one of these conservatives on to talk to them, because for actually genuinely believing that this is a worthwhile talking point is something only a absolute brainlet would think that is a good point. Fox, it's like a little kid complaining to their mom about being punished after their siblings stole the cookie first. Yeah, he's like, listen, Susie took the cookie first. She took one cookie. Just because I ate all 57 of the other cookies, why am I being punished? What? Why do you guys hate me? So unfair. I'm being treated very badly. The mainstream media treats me terribly, very badly.
Trump had throughout the entire.
Also, what I would I muted it. Also, what I would say for Biden, I just say own up to it. Be like, yeah, because you can easily hit Trump on this. It's an easy hit. You don't even have to dodge the question. You can just do what I say. You can go, yeah, we built a lot of the cages. We have to keep people who we keep in detention while we're figuring out their immigration status somewhere. We weren't doing what Trump is doing now. Like, just because the buildings were there does not mean that you can go on and start torturing and mutilating people in them. It's an easy point. It's an easy dunk, and Trump would look like a buffoon. There's no reason for Biden to dodge that point. The thing is that he doesn't think that they're wrong, so he doesn't think that he should say sorry.
Joe is a career politician. 47 years he has been in Washington, D.C., and he says, we got to do this, this, and this. And this is what Trump hammered home.
But why didn't he do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years ago?
Wait, he thinks this is an actual point? Oh my gosh, Trump supporters are brain dead. I thought that this was one of the worst points. This was a terrible point for Trump. My man going, man, Joe Biden, when you were vice president, why didn't you do things that the president could do?
Even less than that. Why didn't you? You were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this, but you were there just a short time ago.
Joe Biden, why didn't you do literally everything? You say you want to do good things. Well, why didn't you do good things when you didn't have the power to? What are you talking about? What are you talking? Trump, where's your healthcare plan? Where's your infrastructure plan? Where's any of this? Where's the wall? Where are all these things? Where are all these things? Where are these better new jobs? Where are all the manufacturing jobs? Where are they? Where are all these things that you promised? We're pulling out of all the wars. Where is it? You're the commander in chief. You have almost complete control over the troops and where they go and what they do. Where's all the things that you promised? Where are they? Where is it? You're the president. You had complete control over the entire government. You had a trifecta for 2 years. And all these things that he said he's going to pass. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. He sat there blithering, for 4 years, and now he's hitting Joe Biden, who was vice president for 8. Like, why didn't you do all the good things that you wanted to do now? Like, what are you talking about? This is ridiculous. I think it took Biden a bit too long to say because we had a Republican Congress. Yeah, but he's probably like filtering through a lot of his talking points. It did take him too long to say that. If he was like a little sharper, if he was 2008 Joe Biden, I think he would have been able to hit him on that, but he's 2020 Joe Biden.
Oh, you're a politician. I ran because of you.
And this is how Joe responded to that.
Talk and no action.
All right, Vice President Biden, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
We had a Republican Congress.
Yeah. See, the thing is, Biden will say this, but then be talking about how he's going to work with Republicans. You can't work with Republicans. You can't work with them. They're insane. You can't work with them. They're literal fascists. They don't care. They don't care about what concessions you give them. They don't care about what you do. They don't care. Barack Obama ran as led as a moderate Republican that he described himself as, okay? And the Republicans played the most obstructive game in the history of American politics on him. You think that they care? You think they care that you give them concessions? No, they don't. You can't do politics with them. You can't. You just have to destroy them. Politically, you have to destroy their political careers.
Cringe. And this is the same Joe Biden.
That was cringe? That wasn't cringe. It was just correct. If anybody has any tangential knowledge about today's modern politics, that was a perfectly fine answer. That was actually the only correct answer. That was the only correct answer. You had a Republican Congress and they weren't going to do anything.
That talks about I'm nonpartisan. I can work with everyone. And you're just admitting that you can't. You can't work with Republicans. How's that going to go, Joe? You're right.
You can't work with Republicans. That's why you have to destroy them from being in office. That's why you have to keep the House. That's why you have to take the Senate. That's why you have to take the presidency, because you can't work with Republicans. It's just impossible. They don't want to work with you. You can't work with someone who doesn't want to work with you. They don't care.
For 8 years, you had a Republican Congress? Is that what it was? You couldn't do anything because...
Well, for 6 years, they had a Republican Congress.
The Republicans? Joe, this is a bad look. Number 3.
Everybody who has any knowledge about the Obama administration, I don't know if this guy was like me and was like a literal toddler during the Obama administration. Like, my entire formative years were formed under the Obama administration. But like, anybody who has any knowledge, anybody writing on the Obama administration knows for a fact that obstruction from the Republicans was a defining feature of the Obama administration. Like, I mean, come on now.
The Hunter Biden stuff was brought up. Not as much as it should have been. It should have been talked about more.
No, it shouldn't. No, it actually shouldn't have been. There's nothing to the Hunter Biden story. But I mean, it's good that they talked it out. It was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous point for Trump. He completely fumbled it.
But it was brought up, and this is how Trump brought it up.
Number one. Number two, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're not.
What? He doesn't even know. Wait, how are you gonna say Biden made all this money when you don't even know if he's the person that they're talking about? What?
But you're the big man, I think. Your son said we have to give 10.
I think Biden really handled it well. He's like, especially, oh man, one of the best things for Biden was he's like, I'm not here to talk about you're here talking about your family and my family. I want to talk about your family, the American people's family. You know, that was like, oh gosh, I'm punching my mic. I'm David Pacman. That was like one of the best lines for Biden, like all night. And he's gonna bring this point up where Trump literally got his head clubbed in like the bonk meme, like his head was all deformed afterwards. He just knocked him over the head with it. Fucking like Krug, just grug Ooga just bonked him over the head with that. I with that line, like people are gonna remember that. That's bad. This was not a good look for Trump.
10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
All right, gentlemen.
And this is very real. That was in the Hunter Biden emails, giving a cut to the big man. Hunter Biden taking in all this money with his business partner who has these emails to confirm this stuff, the text messages.
No, I don't even think. Have these emails even been confirmed by the person? Haven't been confirmed that they were directly from Hunter Biden, and they haven't been manipulated? Has that even been confirmed yet? I don't care about a story where the person who put it together didn't even want their name attached to it because it was so unverifiable. This is just a Republican conspiracy theory they're throwing out now because they don't have anything left. I'll talk about the story once it's even verified by any reputable news sources, any of them. None of this is verified, but okay.
Give money to the big man. Joe, are you the big man? We need to know. The country needs to know. Were you getting a cut 10%. Were you the big man? Is this the guy they're talking about? Number 2. For number 2, we have a couple guys.
But he answered and he said no, he had to skip over. There was literally nothing else in that clip, in that exchange that he could show, because Trump was, maybe he can't show it on YouTube. The VODs of it are probably down, because the way Trump was assaulted probably goes against TOS for violence and gore. I wouldn't doubt it. I may not even be able to show it here.
I have a number more questions.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers. $100 trillion.
I don't know where he comes from. Queens. Even if you don't like Trump, you have to admit that's kind of funny.
I don't know if touting like you being a billionaire, like walking around with your ass covered in gold flakes because you just got up from your solid gold toilet, is the best way to flex to the American people. I don't know if you want to like a Jake Paul flex on your constituency while they're all struggling to put food on the table right now, you know. But you know, do your thing, Chief.
Where Joe Biden, his earpiece malfunctioned, and nobody told him to say Proud Boys, and he forgot the name of the Proud Boys, and he said this.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
Pause. I have to give Joe credit there because that made me laugh. Abraham Lincoln here. I mean, that was kind of funny. I have to admit, I laughed when he said that. Abraham Lincoln.
See, the weird part about this exchange too is that Biden made that actually pretty funny like quip, or at least pretty like smart quip. Just like when Trump was like in the first debate, when Trump was talking about how he'll release his tax returns whenever he was pushing him on when he'll release his tax returns, and then Trump was like, the IRS treats me very badly. I'm under audit. I've talked to all of my auditors. They're very mean to me. And Biden's like, when are you gonna release your tax returns? Inshallah, you know. When he said that was pretty funny. Biden comes up with some good quips sometime.
He poured.
Oh, but the funny part is that Trump actually didn't understand what was going. He actually thought that Joe Biden was saying that he was unironically Abraham Lincoln. So it was weird. He just actually couldn't understand the joke.
Fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around.
That's
and
true.
made everything worse across the board.
I mean, that's true.
He says about the poor boys, the poor boys, the poor boys. Last time we were on stage here, he said, I told him to stand down and stand ready. Come on.
Drink.
This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
I mean, I thought that was a pretty good line. People are like talking about the poor boys. You knew exactly what he was trying to say. Is this like, okay, poor boys? Is this like a big gaffe or something?
And this is what people are
saying.
Yeah,
obviously.
This is why Trump won in 2016. Falsely labeling all of Trump supporters.
I love how Republicans can make literally anything out of Trump's win. Trump's wins because of the SJWs. Trump won because of the college kids. Trump won because of illegal immigration. Trump won because of this. Trump won because of that. Trump won because I took a massive shit in the morning and I looked at it. It looked like Zac Efron. My shit looked like Zac Efron. It sung like him too. It was crazy. That's why Trump won. Wait, what do you mean that's why Trump won? Trump won for one reason and one reason only. Hillary Clinton didn't campaign in the Rust Belt and people hated her. That's the only reason why Trump won. That's it. That's the literal only reason why Trump won. That's it. That's it. Anybody who tries to make this into anything else is just factually incorrect. People didn't like Hillary. Hillary didn't run in the Rust Belt. Trump was the only other option. Trump won. That's it. It was just right place, right time for him. And running against such a hated politician. That's the only reason why Trump won. That's it. It wasn't for any other tangential reason. It wasn't for the culture war or the race war or the civil war or the political war or anything. Just people didn't like Hillary. Trump was the other option. Lots of people stayed home. Lots of people, a decent amount of people decided to vote for Trump. That's it. Like that's it. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. This is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous point. Republicans will make Trump's win anything that they want. It's anything. They can use their imagination. They could form into literally Trump's 2016 win is Republicans' imaginary friend. It goes with them everywhere. They tout it every time, and it does anything and everything they want it to do. It's wild. It's their magic conch. It is unironically their magic conch. They pull the string and they ask it for whatever they want, and that's the reason why Trump won. What are you talking about?
Takeaways from the entire debate, especially for places like Pennsylvania, which are very key states for this upcoming election. And that was Biden's stances on oil. First, let's go to a big lie that he had last night.
False.
It's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. You want and what about
Oil industry.
fracking?
All right,
Now
let me allow Vice President Biden to respond.
I never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Never. He says he never said that. And roll the tape. Roll the tape. Oh,
Let's roll
here's
the
the
tape.
tape, Joe.
We are going to get rid of fossil fuels.
Well, like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
No new fracking, no more drilling on federal lands, no more drilling, including offshore, no ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends, number one.
The thing is, Republicans aren't able to get a nuanced point. What Biden has said this entire time, no more offshore fracking, no fracking on federal land, no more new fracking. All of that is true. Okay. What Trump's trying to say is that Biden wants to eliminate all fracking. These two things are different. And Republicans, conservatives, they just don't understand it. They don't get the point. They don't get it. Or they're trying to essentialize it so it's easier to run against. It's hard to run against nuanced positions. It's very easy to run against very black and white positions. So it's easier for them to do that. We want to keep holding on to fossil fuels. Yeah, but the thing is, since we have our electoral college system, we have to depend on the Rust Belt to vote blue, and they really, really love fracking there. They love it. It's their favorite thing in the world. It is really easy to be right wing. It's like super easy to be right wing.
But that's a big statement. Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry. I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. He won't give federal subsidies to the
Look at you hear Trump just like making noises of woo. Shut the fuck up, dude.
gas, to solar and wind.
Yeah.
Why are we giving it to oil industry?
We actually do
All
give
right.
it to solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will
Industry.
you remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President Biden, let me give you.
Very, very, very big statements. And I just real quick, I want to flash back to the moderator. This is one thing where I feel like she gave a little tell on her stance. Listen to her response here.
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Just like disgusted, disappointed. Like
he's reaching really far to think. Okay, he's reaching real far on this.
with that last statement, with the oil statement and the stance on oil, that's a huge part of Texas, huge part of Pennsylvania, and obviously other places like Oklahoma that are almost guaranteed to be red already. But that's big. If you lose Texas, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, because Ohio is also big, Biden, you have to win Florida. You have to. And if you don't, which I don't think you have a chance in Florida.
My bad. Joe Biden just
like
lost
Michigan,
Pennsylvania.
Where Governor Whitmer has absolutely turned the people against her and the Democrats, and places like Minnesota.
7 points up. Joe Biden just lost Pennsylvania. Okay, buddy. Sounds about right.